Dear all, thank you for enjoying this event. I'm Fabio De Lorenzi from the Consortium for the Protection of Provolone Valpadana, and I welcome you all to join this event. The Consortium for the Protection of Provolone Valpadana is a voluntary organization established in 1975. The reason why the Consortium Tutela Provolone Valpadana exists is to be found in its very own name, the protection. Because this cheese, which has extraordinarily strong identity both in Italy and Europe, needs an authoritative official body, which is the expression of the producer of the raw material, the me of course, the dairy farmers and the maturer, to protect it. Fermentation guarantees consistency and excellence and help make its quality known everywhere. Born to be authentic, Provolone Valpadana PDO cheese from Europe is the project promoted by the Consortium of Tutela Provolone Valpadana and supported by the European Union, with the aim of increasing the recognition and level of awareness of European quality brands, improving consumer awareness of the value. The project, which will last 3 years, and now we are in the middle of the second year, is specifically dedicated to Australia, a market which pays increasingly more attention to values such as the quality and authenticity of the food product. The project is aimed at both operators, chefs, consumers, as well as journalists and influencers. The image of quality, tradition, and innovation of the product will be communicated through transversal action on different targets, which include traditional information, awareness-raising initiative, and action with active role for operators. During the 3 years, numerous online and offline activities will be planned, particularly in the area of Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane. I hope you will enjoy this activity dedicated to true Provolone Valpadana lovers. Hope to see you soon, and for further information, please visit our official website, borntobeauthentic.eu. Bye to everyone.
Un saluto dall'Italia. Oggi ho una certa nostalgia dell'Australia, in quanto con l'ultima visita fatta mi sono affezionato a un paese magnifico che saprà apprezzare ancora di più i nostri prodotti. Io auguro a tutti un buon lavoro e un proficuo svolgimento delle vostre attività.
Good day, everybody. How are we today? Good. Good? So, everybody hungry today? Excellent. Did you all come from a long, far way to come and see this today? I hope you did. All right, guys. So, my name is LUCA, and I've had the privilege for quite a while now to collaborate with the consortium of Provolone Valpadana. Today, we're going to cover quite a few interesting facts about the making and why it's so special and so delicious. I've got a couple of different dishes to sort of highlight and showcase how versatile the cheese can be. And the idea is for you guys to chill, relax, have a glass, have a couple of nibbles. The team from William Angliss, of course, has been supporting and preparing most of my load of work. So I'll do the demonstration quickly, run at the back, and just make sure that all the food comes out as it should. Okay? How does it sound? Good? Excellent. So first of all, let's start. Everybody has heard of provolone before? Yes. Excellent. Everybody has heard of Provolone Valpadana before? Has everybody heard of it? There you go. The good old knife always does the trick. All right, it's quite interesting. The story is actually quite beautiful. Provolone itself has been around since ever. We're talking about the Middle Ages as far as that. And then from there, let's say at the beginning of the 1900s, most of the production been always kept in south of Italy. A lot of people start migrating towards the Valpadana, which is a big plain in the center north of Italy. Can everybody sort of can visualize Italy in terms of the geographical shape, right? So if you were to look from Google Maps, you will see that up north, of course, we got the big mountain chains. And in between the section of the mountains and the Alps, you got that kind of flat, green, vast plain. And that's Valpadana. It's called the Valpadana. And there's a consortium that was born in the 70s to go and protect, of course, the whole production of the cheese. I'm sure most of you would have heard of what a consortium does. They simply try to come together and regulate the production beginning to the end. So that does like us. How many chefs have you got here? Put your arm up if you're a chef. So hopefully you'll agree with me. We are pretty good when we can maintain standard day in and day out, right? So what they're trying to do with their cheese or any other type of consortium, they need to ensure that the standards are there. They are done exactly the same. So it's very important for them to select where the milks come from, the quality of the milk. So beginning to the end, they're basically just making sure there's a lot of traceability behind the product. So if anything goes wrong, they know where to go behind it. And only by putting so much emphasis towards all of this regulation, you can obviously achieve a fantastic product. In this case scenario, Provolone Valpadana. I will stress the name Provolone Valpadana all the time, guys, because that's the really key difference from the generic provolone. And I'm not here to say that unless you're eating Provolone Valpadana, you're eating a rubbish provolone. We're not here for that reason today. We're just here to highlight the quality and how delicious this provolone it is, okay? So there's a lot of rules and regulation behind it. So unless you see the little rosette, you're not buying Provolone Valpadana, okay? And as everything, if you're already, some of the chef restaurateurs here, they're already thinking, gee, how much that more is a kilo? You're paying for a premium. There's a lot behind it. There's a lot more work besides actually making the cheese itself that is involved to protect a product like such from being counterfeited or whatnot. So when you're looking at this rosette, you're buying a product that it is from the consortium of Provolone Valpadana, and also it is a PDO product label, which is, it means that it's a protected designation of origin. So it cannot be produced anywhere else within Italy, in the world obviously, unless it's made within the Valpadana, and the milk is collected from the same area, it's produced there, it's packaged there, so from A to Z, it has to be done over there. The cheese, and this applies obviously to provolone, generically speaking, is always been split in two different cheeses. One being the dolce. Which one? This one is the dolce. This one is the piccante. So dolce in Italian means sweet, but it's not. It's more like the literal translation that we're applying today. It's mild provolone, and we're referring to the flavor profile of the cheese. The other one is the piccante, which in Italian means spicy, as in chili spicy. But again, we're gonna relate to that one or translate that one into strong. Provolone Valpadana comes normally in 4 different shapes. So the beauty of those different shapes and the bigger shapes of provolone, it has to be big to be able to age. If you got the little small one that looks like a little scamorza, it won't be suitable for aging. It's not going to happen. Does anybody has any idea, normally, when we're talking about an aged provolone, how old it is? So for the mild one, we're actually talking up to 3 months, not even. And it will be obviously based by the production and what they want to do with it, how quickly they want to sell it or whatnot. But generally speaking, we're talking between 1 to 3 months. That's your standard mild. So what I like about the mild, it's so fresh, it's so refreshing. You can still sort of taste the milk, a bit of grass, and I don't know, I find that, and soon we're going to obviously try in their plain form before I get on to the cooking, right? In the cheese world, especially for us Italian that we like to age things for years and years, is actually, even the piccante, the strong one, is not, necessarily really aged. So you will always find that, depending, of course, on the producer or the different person that makes the cheese, there's quite a difference with it. The piccante, the strong one, tends to, of course, pick up more of a stronger flavor profile. Is more predominant in his organoleptic properties, but at the same time, is not, dramatically overpowering that is going to take over any other dish. So where we chefs come into it, or at least I've tried today, is which one do you use and when? So what we're doing today, I've utilized the strong, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later, the piccante for a provolone foam. It's going to come out our cream whipped charger, and we're going to serve that with some charred asparagus and leeks, and a little dressing and toasted almonds. And then the second dish, simply because today was a trade day per se, so I know we're going to have some chefs and restaurateurs and whatnot. I just wanted to do something a bit fun, and we made a panna cotta with provolone. I just reminded that Provolone Valpadana PDO to be aged minimum, usually it's about 6 months. But do not keep in mind that that is the age where it stopped. Like it can go as far as even 24 months. The gentleman at the back said 2 years for the Provolone Valpadana. So minimum is about 6 to 8 months. But when I was referring to the very big size, which is about, I think, 5 kg, these are the ones suitable to keep going as far as a couple of years. I just find it extremely versatile. The melting, what we did at Fine Foods, if anybody is a big barbecue lover, and in Australia most of us are, right? What we did, we wanted to feature for a lot of Australians how suitable it is to have a barbecue party at home and grill provolone, because grilling provolone is just super delicious. It's a melting cheese, so it's fantastic. You can make a provolone burger, right? Just put in there like if it was the patty. Then we, of course, just did it as I've always done it, which it would have been just simply grill it. Still delicious, but of course, it's gonna go everywhere. So I think the versatility of the stretch curd that really helps you to play with textures, with flavors. It's a very versatile type of cheese. All right, guys. So what I've done while I was chatting up, non-stick grill pan. Of course, a good one so nothing sticks to it. I got my asparagus and leeks slightly charred. I'm gonna return these into my stainless steel bowl. A pinch of rosemary, a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, just a mini dash while they're warm, and a little bit of aged balsamic. And I'm gonna dress these up, which is the base of my little entree that I'm presenting today. While I'm doing this, I'm gonna put a little bit of toasted hazelnut for texture and a little bit of nuttiness as well. So this could not be simpler. And I've got a clove of garlic, which I'm crushing and putting through as well. Now, this obviously, to most of you that knows how to cook, doesn't make a lot of sense with the garlic crushed. But what we done at the back of the kitchen, we made a proper infusion of garlic and rosemary into extra virgin olive oil, and then we filtered that up, and then we emulsified a little bit of balsamic through it. So you got the aroma of the garlic, of the rosemary, but it's just a clean version of extra virgin olive oil with a hint of aged balsamic. So the idea is to have those absorbing the extra virgin olive oil and picking up all of these, obviously, all of those aromas that we got over here. And I'm gonna let this sit here. Perhaps I'm gonna keep them warm on top of my grill pan, which will be still very, very hot. So egg yolk, milk, butter, and Provolone Valpadana PDO strong in the bag. This was set at 74 degrees. I put the bag inside, and this cooks, we forget about it, for 35 minutes. All right, if you remember what if you want the recipe, of course, I'll give it to you later. But it's as simple as that. All you gotta do, the only really simple thing that you wanna do in the first 5 minutes when you do this job, as you can see, it's already happening now. The butter will start melting, but it splits from the whole thing. So the only, let's say, good practice is just to gently do this a couple of times. Make sure the provolone is being grated. Do not get tempted to leave the provolone just in massive chunk. It will melt, but it will take way too long to melt. So the 35 minutes I'm giving you is not gonna apply anymore. So the Provolone Valpadana PDO is being grated, okay? Milk, egg yolks, and butter. A lot of butter. I'm glad you didn't see how much was in it, because there's a lot of butter. And once it's passed through a very, very fine chinois, and I encourage you to do that once or even twice, finally goes into your cream whip charger, okay? Simple as that. This is the one that sustains hot application, but you can also, if you don't keep it warm for a very long time and you got the normal siphon at home in the restaurant, you can still put it through the normal one. The only things that I found, I do quite a few foams with different cheese at cold temperature. If this one becomes too cold, it's not gonna come out, because again, being a stretch curd cheese, is gonna clamp up again. You're gonna find that very, very difficult, okay? So now this being kept at 65 degrees, I'm gonna give it a shake. I kept the foam quite loose, so this is a half a liter one. It was pretty full when I did it. Half a liter of mixture in here. I already put 2 gas chargers. Everybody knows what I'm doing here? Like, have you seen one of these before? I think most of you would have. There's a little gas bottle. I've used 2 of those, 2 chargers. I got a third one in my pocket in case it's too loose, but excuse me. So what I'll show you first, hopefully, I tested it before, it was fine, but so I'll show you on a spoon first, and then I'll put together the dish, which is very, very simple. So the foam guy just going on a spoon now, and as long as this hold, yeah, it looks like it's holding very well. So now it's showtime. Very, very simple. I might play it up over here. It's a bit elevated, so everybody can see what I'm doing. So again, guys, very, very simple. Yeah, the foam is a little bit technical, but still, if you'll agree with me, it's a very simple thing I put together. And my asparagus, because I love asparagus in spring. I got my leeks. They're already coated with the dressing. What I'm gonna do here, I'm still gonna pick up a little bit of those toasted almonds for texture and a little drizzle of the dressing. I don't really want them floating in oil or anything like that. I just want them to be flavored by that dressing. Then, for the sake of it, a little bit more toasted almonds. And then, because I really want everybody to be reminded, we're talking about Provolone Valpadana PDO, I got a little slice of provolone that is gonna go on top, okay? Now, the foam is warm, it's not gonna melt it, okay? You can go paper thin and have it melted. That wasn't my idea. I'm trying to play with different level of texture. We got the veggie, which I kindly asked the back to have been properly cooked. I'm not looking for a crunch out of the veggie. We gotta have the crunch of the toasted hazelnut, and we got a bit of texture of the cheese being, a slice. And then finally, we're just gonna shake this very well, and I'm gonna gently cover this up. And this will, like I said, it will slowly let itself go a little bit and go and cover my mix. Okay. And the last final touch, I didn't even mention, I do love toasted black pepper. We toasted these at 80 degrees for 2 hours, and then we just bash the hell out of it. And the aroma is amazing, but obviously the kick of the black pepper does reduce down a lot. And I'm just gonna put a little pinch of that on top. And that's my little entree for you guys to get introduced into the beautiful world of Provolone Valpadana PDO. All right, let's move on to the next one. Panna cotta. We all love a panna cotta. I was, playing around with cheese, obviously, thanks to the Provolone Valpadana PDO, and I thought, look, every time I made a couple of, tomorrow we got a session with the students, and I kept the foam to demonstrate, because I thought it was fun for them as well to see the foam, but we're making a risotto. In the risotto, I'm using the strong provolone for the mantecatura, for the finishing of the risotto, but also with the mild, we're making a fonduta. And if you make a fonduta, yet again, you can have it as thick, as thin, or depending on what you're applying to it. So what I like to do, I make quite a concentrated fonduta. So that means there's a lot of cheese, a lot of provolone Valpadana, and just a little dash of milk and cream to loosen it up and let it melt. Once it's hot, got the perfect liquid consistency. As soon as it goes to room temperature, has my perfect consistency to drizzle some onto a risotto, and it looks like it's very thick, so it's not gonna it's gonna loosen up, but it's not gonna go back to liquid. To make this panna cotta, guys, I could not stress how simple that is. Let me just turn this on. So what I've got, it's cream, and panna cotta, for you that are non-Italian and don't know, panna cotta, panna means cream, right? And traditionally it should be all cream. I always find it a little bit too rich, the panna cotta itself. I like panna cotta, but I'm more of a tiramisu guy, if you ask me. So I like to break the actual cream with a bit of milk. So forgive me, but that's me. So I got a little bit of milk as well going into with the cream. And then, if you forgive me, I'm only mimicking all of these steps. So this is going to be a quick one because, of course, we made this earlier. And most of you, if not all of you, will know when you're making a panna cotta, you need some gelatin, and I've got some gelatin which is being soaked in cold water. But before we get to that, we need to have our milk and cream to come up almost to a boil, to a simmer. And then as soon as that happens, we're gonna go in with our Provolone Valpadana PDO mild, and slowly just allow the melting to happen, okay? So once this is fully melted, and that's what I found with my testing, if you don't fully melt the cheese, and by the time it cools down, the liquid split from the cheese, and you're gonna find probably a little bit of what I think has happened yesterday. So as long as everything is boiled together, it will just cool down together, and the help of the gelatin, of course, will help that dramatically as well to support it. If not, you might have a little bit of separation of a bit of a liquid part and a little bit of a set part. So as far as these, I got for my palate, I got a pretty delicate Provolone Valpadana PDO flavor profile through the panna cotta. But by any means, if you like a stronger flavor through your panna cotta, you know, switch it very quickly to the picante, to the strong provolone. Okay, so I want to show you for the poached pear while all of this is melting down. Again, this is only for the demonstration, but as you can see, the cheese is slowly starting to melt, and we'll probably go as far as this goes until I'm done with my panna cotta demonstration. Okay, I don't want this to overflow either, though. I don't want to make a mess. Okay, so for the actual pear, I should have all my ingredients here. Where's my Lambrusco? Yeah. So I got Lambrusco wine, and well, first of all, pear. Again, I'm mimicking the recipe, guys, so bear with me if you got any question. I didn't bother to peel this, but this will be peeled, and normally in a small little saucepan I'll have at least 4 or just enough to fill all the edges of my cookware. Then the idea is that you're gonna go in with wine until you get the pear covered. So obviously, when I'm doing now one, it's probably not helping my demonstration, but it's just the idea to make sure that the liquid, the pear, sorry, is fully submerged, okay? And now, I mean, it's entirely up to you. I work the right ratio many times of sugar to the Lambrusco wine to get the right flavor profile at the end. Of course, if you switch from Lambrusco to any other different wine, you might want to change that sugar content, either increase or decrease. When that is ready, this is what's going to happen. We're going to have our beautiful poached pear, and I guess the cool things about the poached pear, of course, is the look of it beside the smell. It just obviously looks sensational. And putting these on the chopping board, and I'm gonna, just for my cameraman, can you see it properly, sir? I'm just gonna cut these in half. And the beauty of it, of course, is that color of the wine that sort of penetrates through the pear as much as possible. And already as it is, it's super delicious. But what we got over here is the wine, which hasn't been reduced yet over here. This is already liquid gold. I mean, it's delicious as it is. But what I normally do, I remove the pear, and then you want to reduce down the liquid into a syrup, as thin or as thick as you can. I haven't gone too crazy on the reduction because it was getting a little bit sweet, but as you can see, it's quite a thick glaze. When it's still kind of hot, it's quite deceiving, right? Because it's still hot, it's liquid. It doesn't look like it's going to thicken up, but by the time it cools down, it will thicken up. So a little trick is always to put it on a little plate, do a bit of a drizzle, and if this happens, by the time it gets cold, it stays, you know, pretty much the way you dropped it on the plate. You know, you got your desired consistency. But again, if you need it runny for whatever, you know, dish you're putting together, so be it. Don't reduce it as much, okay? And now it could not be easier. Let me just do the pretend finish of my panna cotta first. So what I got over here, the cheese is, I can still feel some at the bottom, but it's starting to melt. As you can see, there's still sort of granular of the cheese, which you don't want. So you really want to have these brought up all the way to boil. And by boil, I don't mean boil the hell out of it like we cook in pasta, yeah? Just enough that the cheese is fully melted. And once all of these, let's assume that's all fully melted, we're gonna grab our gelatin. Just make sure, try to lose most of the water from the gelatin. Drop it in. Just allow the gelatin to literally boil with the cheese, milk, and cream for 1 minute. And then you're gonna turn the heat off. That's it, done. The panna cotta is generally that easy, okay? And then you can, of course, play this up in a million different ways. What I thought was easy to serve and looks quite elegant as well is to serve the panna cotta in a little dish, little glass. I actually done it quite a few times into a bowl plate, like a pasta bowl, a very thin amount like of panna cotta, because then gives me a bit more visual when I plate up with the pears on top and the drizzle. So back to my pear real quickly, and I got the guys at the back to make their life easy to chop them up and dice them up and put them on top. But I guess, of course, at home, in a restaurant, you can try to, I don't know, be a little bit more more fancy, do some couple of cute little slices, flatten them up, and then just simply pour them on top. So you can see a little bit clearer through the slices of our pears. And then finally, to finish it off, we're just gonna go as far as putting, sorry, people can see, probably not. And then we just simply gonna finish this off by pouring, I was gonna say as little or as much. I think too much is gonna kill the cheese. Too little, the cheese might be a little bit too much. So I think you just gotta find the right amount. So by the time you guys get it, just try to mix the whole thing up. And we're gonna have a very simple Provolone Valpadana mild panna cotta with poached pear lambrusco and their juices. Done. Thank you.